The Hunter community speaks out at a screening of Israelism. Mariam Samasa, 21, attended the December 5th screening of Israelism by Aaron Axelman in Hunter College's Ida K. Lang recital hall. During the post-film Q&A, she watched as the moderator quarreled with students and faculty in the audience, which grew increasingly frustrated with his questions for the director and the star of the film. Plainclothes public safety officers lingered in the aisle, and Hunter President Ann Krishner stood up to chastise Dr. Sarah Chin, who was speaking out against the rabbi's disrespectful handling of the Q&A. Then, Samasa's voice cut through the commotion.
I'm tired of y'all always censoring people's voices. Like, why y'all doing it?
I don't know.
Many students became familiar with said censorship on November 14th, weeks before the screening. On that day, organizers from Hunter's Palestinian Solidarity Alliance held a sit-in demonstration, reading the names of Palestinians killed by Israeli bombardment. PSA invited organizers like history professor Sandor John to discuss CUNY's censorship of discussions surrounding Palestine. Media professor Tammy Gold announced to the crowd that the Hunter president had canceled her screening of the film Israelism hours before it would have taken place that evening.
Yes, it is a film about Palestine. It's the perspective of two young American Jews who were raised to unconditionally love Israel. And it's when they went to Palestine that they saw the truth. And they saw the terrible brutality.
Students from PSA, the student government, and CUNY internationalists challenged the administration's decision at a college senate meeting the following day. They won, and the film was rescheduled. Hunter's Athenian, The New Yorker, and Inside Higher Ed covered the story. But the administration's concessions differed from the original screening. Rabbi Andy Bachman replaced Gold as the host of the event. Additionally, while the event was originally funded by both the Film and Media Department and the Arabic Studies program, the administration removed the latter from the event, which led to the former to cancel its support. Despite these changes, tickets were quickly claimed, and the event was full within hours. Miriam, a Hunter Jr. from Palestine, asked that her last name be withheld. Though she was unable to RSVP in time, she said the removal of the Arabic program was alienating toward Arab and Muslim viewers. When informed of the change of hosts, Miriam squinted and said that it was not a centrally religious issue and did not require a rabbi. 22-year-old Samaya Sinclair had attended PSA's November 14th demonstration because he witnessed the violent October 31st arrest of a Hunter student wearing a Palestinian keffiyeh in front of the school. He said that as a non-religious Jew, he was not interested in listening to a rabbi, though he would still attend. "I don't think a rabbi would have the literacy skills we're looking for," he said. "You would want someone who specializes in the sharing and production of media." Once the film ended, and as the lights began to rise, a group of students and faculty distributed printed QR codes linking to a timeline of events leading up to the Hunter administration's co-option of the Israelism screening. People clapped as Israelism's director, Aaron Axelman, and Simone Zimmerman, the documentary's main subject, walked on stage, followed by Rabbi Bachman. Finally, the event organizers gave out pencils and index cards for audience members to write their questions. Before the discussion, Bachman characterized the documentary and its figures as provocative, calling it a film that pushes a lot of buttons, and asking how events of October 7th affected discussion of the film. Axelman asked everyone to take a moment of silence for all of the civilians killed between then and the screening. He said that anti-Semitism was an issue on the left and right, but differentiated it from anti-Zionism. Bachman asked the director to define anti-Zionism. When Axelman answered, Bachman, unsatisfied, asked a second time. To say that anti-Zionism is anti-Semitism would be to say
that for large periods of the past 200 years, the majority of Jewish people were anti-Semitic, which is absurd.
Okay. I didn't quite hear a definition of anti-Zionism. So let's just stick to that for a second.
As the discussion went on, members of the audience interjected, saying Bachman was dominating the conversation. "We want to hear what Simone has to say," called one audience member. "I actually want to hear a woman speak," shouted another. Zimmerman, who voiced support for Hunter's student activism, which instated the screening, evoked scholar Edward Said and author Tariq Bocconi as she centered the conversation on Palestinians.
There's something about being up here right now, having these conversations, knowing like right now kids are trapped under the rubble in Gaza. It's hard to find the words for it actually. And I understand why it's actually hard to have these conversations right now because people are dying at this very moment.
Bachman continued to challenge the two on the film. He questioned the exclusion of Jonathan Greenblatt, president of the Anti-Defamation League, and those interviewed. He disagreed with the film's timeline surrounding the 1948 Nakba, questioned the panelists over the meaning of ceasefire, and argued about the definition of a popular chant.
Well, at the risk of making even more friends,
Okay.
if you are out protesting the violence and you're marching with a sign that says "Free Palestine from the river to the sea," isn't that also endangering Jews?
I believe.
I'm quite serious.
Axelman praised the audience's increasing participation in the discussion and said that other Q&As for Israelism had been overwhelmingly calm. On November 10th, Clara Jurgens, staff writer for the Bodouin Orient, wrote an article reporting the dissatisfaction of students with how the rabbi handled himself after Bodouin professors invited Bachman to speak to students about Israel and Palestine. The Hunter community speaks up. Dr. Chin apologized to the moderator, but said that she and others wanted to hear from the filmmakers because she was raised Jewish and identified with Simone's story.
And I feel like it's disrespectful to the students, faculty, and staff in this room that you have a stack of, I don't know, 20, 25 cards in your hand. And you're looking through them, signed, putting them in your laps, and then asking for questions.
During the commotion, Bachman told Samasa to take the cards, read them, after she asserted that he censored a question she asked.
I asked this question. Yes, I did. That's the October 7th question.
No.
She asked,
Why do people always take the initiative to blame and condemn Hamas being a terrorist when Israel has been proven to be a terrorist all along? And you have yet to even ask that question to the people.
After Zimmerman and Axelman addressed Samasa, they answered the questions of several other students in the audience until the rabbi interjected again. The audience laughed as one student responded to Bachman saying, "We don't even know who you are." Marina Blumenschein, 22, said that the conversation should have addressed capitalism as the root of genocide.
This is capital, the powers of money in the military-industrial complex. People supporting each other in this class of capital owners. They have been doing the same colonizing for centuries.
One student addressed President Kirchner, who had left the room, and said the screening was your only chance to show that you care about your Palestinian students, and you prove that you don't care. This screening today was not to show solidarity, but rather to shut us down, she said. The event ended with members of the audience thanking and speaking with the filmmakers, and others chanting, as they left the room. The original cancellation motivated senior Melissa Dorville, 22, to attend the screening, but she said she did not expect the audience to be as vocal and straightforward with the moderator. While Bachman did read Dorville's question as she had written it, unlike with Samasa's question, she said that his steering of the conversation in defense of Israel was not appropriate given the content of the film. Dorville said it was the cancellation that created so much drama around the event. I don't think it would be as controversial as it was on campus in creating this whole saga around this film screening, the before, the during, and after, she said.